So you're staring at the MAS TRM rules, the Monetary Authority of Singapore's Technology Risk Management Guidelines, and let me guess, you're just seeing endless red tape, right? Well, what if I told you that you could literally turn those exact same regulations into a cash machine for your bank or insurer? If you're a CEO or a CTO here in Singapore, listen up. This compliance checklist isn't just a bureaucratic IT headache, and it's definitely not just a cost center. When played right, this is an absolute top-line revenue driver. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're completely decoding the MAS TRM compliance checklist, drawing on some really great recent insights from Atlant Security. We're going to strip away all that dense regulatory jargon and show you exactly how to transform your compliance strategy into a highly effective sales weapon. So get ready to completely shift your perspective on security. All right, here's our strategic briefing for today. We'll start by moving from red tape to revenue, then break down the profit-driving core checklist. After that, we'll do a rapid flyover of the 12 steps to complete TRM, look at how to pick your compliance partner, and finally wrap up with exactly how to turn compliance into cash. Time is money, so let's jump right in. Section 1. Red tape to revenue. We are flipping the script on compliance. For a really long time, compliance has been viewed as this necessary evil. But in today's landscape, that mindset is literally leaving money on the table. A fintech compliance lead in Singapore actually put it perfectly recently, saying, compliance is your secret sauce. It builds trust and gets clients to open their wallets. And, that's not just theory. The reality is, clients are flocking to firms that aggressively protect their data. Having bulletproof security is what actually closes big deals and totally sets you apart from competitors who are just doing the bare minimum. So, how does this actually hit your bottom line? Well, secure systems build the exact kind of client trust you need to win much bigger deals. It lets you outshine the competition with a rock-solid, secure-by-design pitch. Internally, lowering your risks means less downtime and fewer breaches, which means your uptime revenue just keeps flowing without any nasty interruptions. Plus, when you combine the ability to offer premium security upsells with the long-term value of really loyal customers, the ROI on compliance becomes, frankly, undeniable. Moving on to Section 2. The profit-driving core checklist. Let's translate these controls into cash. Okay, we aren't going to get bogged down in the technical weeds here. Instead, we're focusing purely on the business outcomes. First up, governance and risk assessment. Practically, this means setting up real board oversight for tech risks, defining clear risk appetites, and making sure IT roles are strictly accountable. It also means running proactive quarterly risk scans for both your cloud and on-prem setups using tools like Qualys. And why does this matter? Because strong governance screams reliability to your most risk-conscious clients. It tells them straight up, hey, we're proactive, not reactive. 2 million Singapore dollars. Think about that for a second. In 2024, a Singapore bank used their strong governance proof to land a contract of that exact size, simply by proving their reliability. Or take another case. An insurer used regular risk assessments to dodge a $100,000 bullet in breach costs, and then turned right around and used that pristine track record to pitch brand new clients. That, right there, is compliance paying for itself over and over again. Next up in the core checklist, we've got security controls and incident response. This means locking down your data with military-grade AES 256 encryption, multi-factor authentication, and robust endpoint tools like CrowdStrike. Crucially, it also means having a lightning-fast incident response setup. We're talking 24/7 real-time monitoring with a CM like Splunk, which ensures you can easily hit that super strict 1-hour MOS breach reporting window. Remember, you aren't just buying software here. You're packaging and selling a promise of absolute peace of mind to your clients. The financial impact of getting this right is massive. $50,000. That's the heavy fine a startup successfully dodged back in 2023, just because they had a solid 1-hour reporting plan in place. But honestly, here is the brilliant part. They didn't just stop at plain defense. They took that bulletproof response capability, went totally on the offensive, aggressively marketed it to their prospects, and actually grew their business by 20%. Quick response equals more trust. And more trust, well, that equals more revenue. Let's jump into Section 3, 12 steps to complete TRM. Here is the framework overview. So we've talked about the core profit drivers, right? But how do we see the whole board? Let's do a rapid, high-level flyover of the full MAS TRM framework, which covers both the 2021 guidelines and the newer supervisory expectations. We can chunk these 12 steps into distinct groups. Group A is all about strategy. That's your governance and oversight, your documented TRM framework, and business continuity management. Group B is your build phase. That's securing your software development lifecycle with tight security gates, IT service management with strict change controls, and solid asset and configuration management. Ultimately, setting your risk tolerance and securing the absolute foundation of your software lifecycle is exactly how you build that baseline client trust. Now, the second half of the framework covers protection and response. Group C focuses on cybersecurity requirements, things like network segmentation, data protection and encryption, and managing your IT outsourcing and third-party risks. Finally, Group D is response, incident management, IT audit and independent reviews, and real-time monitoring and reporting. Things like multi-factor authentication, rigorously vetting your vendors, and that real-time SIM monitoring we talked about. These are the dynamic, protective layers that keep your revenue engine humming safely, day in and day out. All right, Section 4, picking your compliance partner. This is all about investing in a secure pitch. Okay, so implementing all 12 of those steps perfectly? Yeah, it requires some serious expertise. But I really want you to view this as a strategic investment in building a secure, revenue-generating pitch, rather than just some sunk operational cost. The market has distinct options depending on what you need. For instance, boutique firms like Atlant Security tailor MAS TRM specifically to win client trust, like helping a bank land a $1 million deal, and that usually runs around $20,000 to $40,000. Now, if you're looking for that massive global brand recognition, heavyweights like Deloitte, PwC, or KPMG can turn compliance into a serious competitive edge, though you should expect investments reaching up to $150,000 there. Meanwhile, Enzyme is fantastic for really localized expertise. The whole key here is just finding the partner that aligns best with your specific top-line growth strategy. And finally, Section 5, turn compliance into cash. Let's look at the bottom line. Let's look at the ultimate financial consequences of how you handle MSTRM. The contrast here honestly couldn't be any clearer. On one side, we have a complete failure. A startup flat out ignored controls in 2023, spectacularly failed their audit, and subsequently just bled clients. On the flip side, a massive win. A bank partnered with Atlant Security in 2024, complied perfectly with the framework, and leveraged that stellar audit to land a cool $1.5 million in new business. It's a pretty stark reminder. Ignoring security costs you clients, while mastering it opens the door to $1 million contracts. So let's summarize the core message of this explainer. MAS TRM is definitely not just about avoiding regulatory penalties. It's a giant puzzle that, when put together right, becomes your ultimate profit engine. Wow your clients with bulletproof security. Stack up all those benefits of trust, lower risk, and competitive edge. And ultimately, make your highly secure services an absolute must-have in the market. Please, don't just check the boxes. Use the MAS TRM checklist to build a resilient, trusted, and incredibly profitable business. We've just seen exactly how top firms are already doing it. They're literally turning audits into sales pitches. So the final question I'll leave you with today as a business leader is this: are you ready to cash in?